I have been eating a lot of meat lately. Since November alone, I've probably had like 3 or 4 prime ribs because I wanted to make that prime rib video and perfect the perfect prime rib for the New Year's Eve. Honestly, like I think I'm starting to feel the repercussions of having such a meat-heavy diet. But on the other hand, meat, and not just meat, convenience sources of protein like jerky has been really helpful to me because I've been trying to maintain 200 grams of protein a day within a specific caloric amount. And doing so has done really well for me, but I have found that it has made me lazy in a way. I just haven't had as much vegetables and legumes and like nutritious, healthy food in my rotation as much as I normally would. So today we're gonna do something that's just a little bit different. We're gonna follow me throughout the day, and I'm going to cook an all-vegetarian meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'm gonna try to get to my 200 grams of protein, but still maintain my caloric goal, which off the top of my head, I don't really know what it is. I have a food tracker, which brings me to my next point. I'm going to have the help of a food tracker. I'm gonna track everything that I'm gonna eat, and I'm gonna see if we can do this. So here we go. Let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna start by eating this protein bar. We started way too late in the day. I am starving. It is 11 a.m. and the last thing that I can possibly do right now is start cooking those beans on an empty stomach, because this is gonna take a long time, but I just need something right now. And honestly, I don't think it's cheating, because even when I did eat meat, I was drinking quite a few protein shakes and eating protein bars just to help me get to my protein goals. And those things are still vegetarian, even the whey ones. I'm not doing a vegan challenge, so I'm gonna count this. And this is 28 grams. Now, breakfast is gonna be pretty easy considering that I'm able to eat eggs. But for lunch and for dinner, I'm gonna need to prep some beans and legumes and other stuff that take a little while to cook. So I'm gonna get started on those first. I'm also a big rice eater, but the problem with white rice is that it doesn't have any protein in it. So I'm actually going to bulk up my white rice with a bit of farro, which is a wheat berry, which will up both the protein and the fiber content of the rice bowl that I will make. I don't actually think that this challenge is going to be very difficult, but I do think that to be able to think about it this much and to do this much planning for it is a bit of a privilege for sure. This is also just a great excuse to use the beans that have been sitting in my pantry for like ages. All right, 1 cup of chickpeas, 1 cup of lentils, and 1 cup of these vaquero bean. It's a chili bean that holds its shape when cooked. Look how pretty this is. Gorgeous. We're just gonna do 1 cup of these. I do know for a fact that you do not actually have to soak beans the day before. It does make them a little more digestible, but I think it was America's Test Kitchen that proved that you don't have to pre-cook or pre-soak your beans. In fact, in some cases, it's better if you don't. It only makes it less farty if you do. Cooking farro is easy enough. You simply just boil it until it's tender. And then you drain, and that's it. And apart from just bulking up the nutritional density of your rice, you can also add it to salads as a grain. Before I was even finished my omelet, the farro finished cooking. So I'm gonna drain this and store it as well. And then when I make a rice dish or something to eat with rice, I will add this to the rice to bulk up a whole bunch of other nutrients. Pretty easy, just drain it and then let it steam out. You can add cooked farro directly to your cooked rice. The only reason why I'm not is because I want to measure everything and get an accurate measurement of all my macros. And the easiest way to do that is just to add everything afterwards when I can weigh them all individually. But if it were outside of the video, I would just add it together. To complicate things further, each of these things require a different amount of time for boiling. The farro will need anywhere between 30 minutes to 45 minutes. The lentils need 15 to 20 minutes. All of this is without pre-soaking, by the way. It's a lot shorter if you do soak things overnight, but this is without pre-soaking. The chickpeas can go from 4 hours plus, and the vaquero beans, which is a type of pinto bean as I found, can take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. So while they do take a long time apart from the lentils, you have a pretty long grace period of how long you can just leave them there for. So breakfast is gonna be easy enough. I'm gonna do a mushroom omelet. I've got here 130 grams of egg whites. I just buy the carton of Kirkland brand egg whites. And then in that, we're going to crack 2 regular eggs with the yolks in because I like nice things. We're giving this a little simple mix and then we'll set it aside while we cook our mushrooms because as we know, mushrooms always get cooked first. First step to sauteing mushrooms is no oil or anything whatsoever. Since we're using a non-stick pan, I will do the water trick. The water trick is simply sauteing your mushrooms with water. Mushrooms will absorb oil like a sponge, making it really difficult to saute in there. But water, when it hits the hot pan, it steams the mushrooms. The water comes out of the mushrooms faster. That water will also coat the mushrooms and make it so that whatever oil or butter that you add to it doesn't get absorbed by the mushrooms, but instead stays on the surface and cooks the mushrooms. That's how you properly saute a mushroom. You can see how the mushrooms kind of mat here, but underneath, the mushrooms that touch the pan are actually releasing the water in the mushrooms. I like doing it plain without anything because I feel like the mushrooms char much better this way, and charred mushrooms are absolutely delicious and have a great umami flavor to them. But you can see here, definitely the mushrooms are starting to like sweat out and as well as brown very, very nicely. Now the mushrooms are done, the pan is clean. I'm gonna go ahead and just add, that's a teaspoon of butter, and let that heat up in there. Salt my eggs before putting them in. Maybe add just a little something something. I'm gonna do a pinch of Japanese curry right directly into the pan. You gotta cook your curry before adding it to anything. So just a quick fry in with all this oil should be good enough. And then in we go. Smelling pretty good. Cilantro and curry is always nice. Well, that is a little overstuffed, but we managed. So we are off to a pretty good start. 327 calories in this, with what looks to be like 33 grams of protein, which is great. But considering with my little cheat of having my protein bar earlier, that bumps breakfast up to 477 calories and 61 grams of protein. So we're in really good shape. For lunch, we're gonna stew the lentils and then serve that on the rice mix. And I guess since I'm stewing the lentils, I didn't really need to cook them beforehand, but you know, whatever. It'll be fine. So for this, we'll do half an onion, half a diced sweet potato. Of course, I cut it right through the price tag. Some minced garlic. And then we'll assemble a spice mix for everything. As for the spices, we're just gonna do some pepper, cumin, salt, some Kashmiri chili, and some paprika. I don't have any mushroom stock. I only have chicken and beef broth, and since we're gonna do vegetarian today, we're gonna put in a bunch of mushroom powder as well. And I'm pretty sure the lentils are done. Check this real quick. Yep. How's the farro? Almost. But the lentils are done. A little bit of cold water to stop it from cooking further. And of course, before I got to cooking the lentils, my chickpeas and my other beans finished cooking, so there we go on that. Now for these lentils, I'm just gonna get started with say like a tablespoon of olive oil. And then that will do onions and the garlic. And then my vegetables, covering it with water, and then letting that simmer and stew for about, I'm gonna say, 30 to 45 minutes.
After about 40 minutes, the lentils have cooked all the way through and have achieved a creamy texture, as well as the sweet potatoes in there. The spices have done a good job of incorporating in, and now all that's left to do is to pour everything out and measure things on a scale. Throughout this entire process, for every single dish, I've been measuring things out by weight to get a good assessment of what the macros are. Not to mention figuring out the protein and other macro content of every serving that I'm making myself. This whole process has the extra benefit of pretty much having a recipe embedded in. So not only do I know the nutrient breakup of all of these dishes, I also have a recipe for all of them too. Clarify on that last point, I was making all of this up as I was going along. I had no idea what I was doing. I just focused on the ingredient and how to get them together. So far, all of them have turned out delicious.
So breaking down the lunch, 458 calories, 21 grams of protein, not bad. And I can't help but notice that like my tracker doesn't just track, you know, carbs, fat, and protein. It also tracks things like the B vitamins, vitamin C, folate, potassium, fiber, all that stuff. I'm 44%, 88 grams of protein in, less than half my way in there, which is okay because, you know, I still have a couple of protein shakes that I can take, but I can't help but notice that like all of these other things that are being tracked, like I'm not just being tracked for protein, but I'm tracking for immune support, metabolism health, bone health. All of those metrics are way ahead from what they normally are compared to when I'm just having like a meat heavy day. And this is one of the reasons why I am trying to get more diverse in my diet, because when you eat meat, it's just so easy to fall back on. It's just so easy to fall back on some jerky or some chicken breast or something like that. Diversity in your diet is so important to overall health that it really became something that I kind of lost sight of when I was really focused on protein and calories. This challenge is just a way for me to like incorporate more vegetarian meals into my diet and macro plan. It's dinner time, and we are so ready to do this. I've got my chickpeas pre-boiled here. I've got some spinach, onion, lots of tofu, garlic, spices, and flavor, and I'm pretty confident that I'm going to hit my protein goal. Thanks to the protein bar and the protein shake that I had after my workout, I'm at 147.5 grams out of 200 with 602 calories left to go, and I still have to do like a little cardio thing at the end of the day. So I'm golden, and I'm super excited to do this. We're going to do just like a little variation of a dish that I absolutely love. It's called Palak paneer. It is Indian. It is a green saucy curry dish that is that is based on spinach and spices, and then normally it is served with cheese, an Indian cheese called paneer. But since I don't have paneer right now, and also I am trying to maintain a vegetarian, mostly plant-based protein goal, I'm going to sub in tofu, which by the way, flavor-wise is nowhere near the same. Let's not pretend that this is like any kind of substitution or anything. This is just what I'm putting in here for my protein boost. and chickpeas. So I guess technically this would be like a Chana Palak tofu. So to start, I'm just gonna blend some turmeric, ginger, and garlic. Slice up half an onion. Because it's a green colored curry, it is better to use like serranos, jalapenos, or like green Thai chilies, but I don't have anything green right now. I just have these red ones, and red chilies in a green sauce is better than no chilies at all. So we're just gonna put in 4 of these, or as much as you need. So I've heard that adding a touch of baking soda to some boiling water will help spinach and other leafy greens that have been cooked for a really long time retain a bright green color. Not really sure what that does nutritionally speaking, but let's try it. Could be fun. So just quickly blanch your spinach. And once it's softened, immediately put it into the ice bath. Just stir frying the onions and, oh my God, the dog is right here. Stir frying the onions and the chilies and the garam masala, getting all the aromatics nice and incorporated and activated. Gorgeous, stunning, beautiful, delicious. Who is she? Look at that. Beautiful. Oh man. Okay. Seasoning to taste. Needs a little bit of salt. I'm putting a little bit of MSG. Why not? Black pepper just because it helps us absorb the turmeric. That was a lot, but all right. Hell yeah. Yum. Oh God, I'm making a mess. Adding in the chickpeas, mix in the tofu. So, with the white rice, the pinto beans, and the Chana tofu palak, I don't even know if that's a sensical string of words, but I'm hoping that it is. I am at 90% of my protein goal for the day. I am at 180.4 and I need 20 more, which is half of a Fairlife strawberry milk, which I like to drink before bed anyway. So I will be over 20 grams of protein by the end of the day. And the insane part is like, look at these are all like vitamins and minerals that I normally have such a hard time filling up over the course of the day. Over 200% of my daily requirement of folate though. I don't know what that means. Maybe I'll die. I mean, I kind of like phoned it home with the pinto beans and I just kind of like put it on top as a beans on rice thing. So it's got beans and tofu on this, but oh man. Oh, this is great. You know what the nice part about it is? Like, when you, a little more salt. When you are like watching your macros, counting your calories and stuff like that, and you're eating meat, so rarely do you get to like truly feel like you are just going all in and gorging yourself in a way. I haven't had a plate this full in a really long time. And it's really just nice to eat yourself stuffed again, which you don't really get. So, you know, I'm still gonna eat meat, obviously. I love meat and I love beef and chicken and pork and all of that, but the fact of the matter is, like, with the amount that I cooked today, I have enough protein-packed, almost completely plant-based meals for the rest of the week. And that ain't bad. And that is something that I do want to work on a little more, is working in more vegetarian and plant-based protein dishes into my daily life. And if you want to be with me on that journey, by all means. I mean, I'm still gonna do the salmon, I'm still gonna do prime rib, I'm doing duck next week, so I'm here for that. But since the whole point is that I want us to be here for a good time and a long time, and this is definitely a part of that. So thank you so much for sticking with me all day, and hopefully this will be a series. If you guys like it, I will see you guys later.